On Special Report last night, syndicated columnist and Fox News contributor Charles Krauthammer called Carney's response over the top and accused the White House of manufacturing the idea of a war on women.
But now you get stories in the mainstream media. I think I saw a headline this morning that said, Republicans claim that there is no war on women. I mean, this is actually in a news part of a paper, which of course is promoting the meme. The idea is that because there was some objection on religious liberty grounds to forcing Catholic institutions to dispense them for free, it's a war on the women. And the idea of the meme was that they want to deny access to contraception, as if Republicans want to shut the door of American pharmacies for any woman looking for contraception. So the media have collaborated in inventing an issue. Obama's season opening, he actually said women aren't an interest group. Of course they are in the eyes of this administration. That's why it's holding the conference.
Joining us now to discuss it, Simon Rosenberg, president and founder of the Progressive New Democrat Network. He's also a former Clinton campaign advisor. And Mark, who is a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute and a former George W. Bush speechwriter. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. So,
sure, Megan. Thanks, Megan.
Are you really at war? Are you at war on me, Mark?
No, not at all. Look, there's no war against women. What there is a war for the women's vote, and it's a war, quite frankly, that Barack Obama is losing. According to the Gallup tracking poll, when Obama took office in 2009, he had 70% approval rating with women. Today, his approval rating with women this week, according to Gallup, is 47%. That's a 23% drop since he took office. So he knows he's got to turn that around if he's going to get reelected. And so what he's doing is he's either creating or wading into all of these controversies. He's entering the fight over whether women should be allowed in Augusta National Golf Club. The Democrats up on Capitol Hill are trying to provoke a fight over the Violence Against Women Act. They're putting all these poison pill amendments in there to try and get the Republicans to block it. And that's why we have this controversy where the president is forcing religious employers to offer contraception and abortifacients to women in order to get, because he wants the fight. He could have easily blocked that fight by extending the exemption that was offered to churches to religious employers, but he wanted the fight. And that's what he's doing.
Is this, Simon, about good politics for the White House?
No, I mean, look, I think, Mark, I just want to say that was a great effort, because what's happened in the polling in the last couple of weeks is there's been a 20-point shift among women away from the Republicans towards the Democrats. It's had a dramatic impact in the presidential race. The president is now up in some polls by as much as 10 points. And so this is a really serious issue for the election. And I think what's happened is that women are waking up to the fact that the current Republican Party is let's just take three examples, right? If the Republicans have their way, tens of millions of women and their families will lose health insurance. If the Republicans have their way, there's going to be massive cuts in education and daycare, transportation services that help working families deal with their daily life and make sure they have the kind of kids that they want to have. And third, that you'll see us go back to an economic strategy that got us into this economic mess in the first place. So part of what's happening is, look, whenever a political party is complaining about the rules or is making, is working the refs, it means that they're losing. And the thing is, what the Republicans would be smart to do is to deal with why it is that there's been this dramatic shift in the last few weeks away from their party and towards the Democrats. That's the real issue.
Mark, that's what Charles seemed to be saying, is that the reason that there's this perception is he talked about a compliant media that's perpetuating what he thinks is a myth about a war on women. Whether it's a myth or it's real, does Simon have a point that it's resonating with women? Because according to the latest, I think it's Gallup, USA Today Gallup poll, President Obama is now leading Mitt Romney by a 60 to 30% margin among younger women in battleground states. This one, I think, is from New York, but they're saying this is in battleground states. Now, this isn't the right poll, but he's leading Romney considerably with women.
Yeah, it's the USA Today poll. Look, I hope President Obama believes what Simon is saying, because it's good for the Republican Party. If you look at that poll, I mean, it's not surprising that Romney against Obama, after we've just had a 6-month battle royale in the Republican Party, that Romney's numbers are down. But if you look at that USA Today poll, they asked women, what are your top issues that you're concerned about? Number one issue, health care. The fact is, polls show that women oppose Obamacare more than men do. Second most important issue is gas prices. Not a winning issue for President Obama. Third most important issue, unemployment. This is the issues for women. The unemployment numbers, we just had a bad jobs report today. Fourth most important issue is the debt. This is the president who raised the debt more. You know where contraception comes in the priority list for women in that USA Today poll that Simon was citing? 6th out of 6th. So the fact is, the women are not voting on contraception. Women are voting on the economy, on health care, on jobs, on gas prices. And if the Democrats want to have this war on women strategy, if he wants to wage this fight over contraception, I can't wait till Inauguration Day.
Simon, if the women care about all those issues, and the president's been struggling on some of those issues in terms of disapproval on health care, gas prices, and so on, then why are the numbers so in his favor, Obama's favor, President Obama's favor, when it comes to a matchup against Romney?
Well, first of all, contraception is health care, so on the number one issue, what women understand now is the Republican Party, for example, wants to get rid of a health care provider that services 1/4 of all the women in the United States.
Planned
today,
Parenthood.
Right? And Planned Parenthood. And so I think that the Republicans have made
They don't want to get rid of it. They don't want a taxpayer funding for it.
Yeah, no, but it will have it will have the net impact of substantially reducing the ability of Planned Parenthood to service women in the United States. And it's a provider that is very popular with women. And imagine taking on any institution that serves 1/4 of all the women in the United States. The Republicans are paying a terrible price for the way they've handled this issue. On the economy, let's be clear. The talking points all day from the Republican Party is this was a bad jobs report. The unemployment rate went down. I mean, I don't really understand how the argument that we're hearing that somehow the economy is going in the wrong direction. We just had the best quarter of job creation in 6 years, and all the trend lines are heading in the right direction, which is one of the reasons why the Republicans are in trouble right now in the national polls. So, Megan, on the two issues cited here, the economy and health care, the Republicans are fighting against history here. The Democrats are in the right place. And so I think that this is why the numbers
I don't think I've ever seen Simon get so fired. That's very fiery for Simon. The unemployment rate went down. Mark, I think it must mean that's true, because Simon doesn't usually get that upset.
Look, women oppose Obamacare. 52% of American women oppose Obamacare compared to 48% of men. Obamacare is intensely unpopular in this country, and it's unpopular with women. In fact, the unemployment rate is better. But you know what? Unemployment went up for women more dramatically under President Obama from the time he took office until today. It was 7% when he took office. It's 8.1% for women today. So women's unemployment isn't great. And guess what? I don't know last time Simon went to fill up his tank in the gas station, but that's the number 3 issue for women, and it's not working for Obama.
It's a depressing experience. I can speak to that personally.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to go. Good debate.
Megan, one last thing. Can I just say is that the unemployment rate has come down 2 entire percentage points in the last 2 years, a bigger drop than any time in modern history. So thank you very much. Thanks, Mark.